Some things you don't know until you're actually doing it.
Could we do a test run maybe for 15 minutes before council? Okay. My apologies. I've just learned that we didn't have any sound on our line, so I will have to start over again. So it was moved by Councillor Aaron Ferranti and Aguirre to adopt the agenda, and the motion was carried. We are now dealing with the November 8th council minutes held in the council chambers at 9:30 a.m. Present were myself, Chief Don Miracle, Councillors Aguirre, Chris Brandt, Curtis Brandt, Aaron Ferranti, Linda Lewin, and Chris Miracle were present. Staff present were Shelley Bowden, Executive Administrative Assistant and Recording Secretary to the Council, Charles Miracle, Executive Assistant to the Chief, and Kelly Miracle, the Director of Human Resources. Regrets were Angela Miracle, the Acting CAO. Moved by Aaron Ferranti and seconded by Linda Lewin to adopt the agenda. The motion was carried. Motion 2, moved by Curtis Brandt and seconded by Aaron Ferranti that the council minutes of October the 16th be approved. The motion was carried. Motion 3 was moved by Chris Brandt and seconded by Aaron Ferranti to acknowledge the Gagnote Library Board minutes of January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, and September 2024. The motion was carried. Motion 4 was moved by Aguirre and seconded by Chris Brandt to approve the following meetings outside of the territory. Chief Curtis, Linda will attend the Indigenous Services Canada lobby meetings on December the 12th, 2024 in Toronto. The motion was carried. Chase Aguirre Brandt arrived at 10:05 a.m. There was a motion, but it was not carried, was to approve to maintain the existing 40-kilometer to maintain the existing 40-kilometer zone as signed adjacent to Quinny Mohawk School and post 60-kilometer-hour community safety between Pentecostal Church and the community center. The remaining areas on the York Road as 60 as recommended by Greer Galloway. Councillor Chase Aguirre agrees with the motion. Councillors Curtis Brandt, Councillor Linda Ween, Councillor negative vote. As this is a tie vote, Chief Miracle is registered a negative vote. And the reason being was that I thought the 60 kilometers should extend to the, I thought it should be 50 kilometers actually from the Pentecostal Church to Wyman's Road. The motion was defeated. Then there was a motion. 5 was moved by Chris Miracle, and seconded by Curtis Brandt to approve the speed limit on York Road between the ball fields and Wyman's Road to be 50 kilometers an hour. And the school zone will stay at 40 kilometers and the rest of the road will be 60 kilometers. That motion was carried. Councillor Aaron Ferranti and Councillor Chase Aguirre, negative votes. We should follow Greer Galloway recommendations. Motion 6 was moved by Chris Miracle and seconded by Linda Lewin that whereas the council has received numerous complaints regarding speeding traffic on the Bayshore Road located in the territory, and whereas the Bayshore Road is considered a county road 16 under the administration and control of Hastings County. Therefore, resolve the council is requesting Hastings to reduce the speed limit to 40 kilometers on Bayshore Road, and Council Resolution 242564 was signed, and so that motion was carried. Motion 7 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Chase Aguirre Brandt that the land hereunder described and situated on the Tunning Mohawk Territory be allotted to Keith Kyle Lyle Miracle in accordance with Section 20, subsection 1 of the Indian Act, Revised Statutes of Canada, Chapters 1 to 5, land description, the whole of Lot 4, Tyndall Industrial Park, Concession 1, as shown on plan number Canada Land Survey Record 95029. Council Resolution 2024-25-065 was carried, and the resolution was signed. Motion 8 was moved by Aguirre and seconded by Curtis that the land hereunder described and situated on the Tunning Mohawk Territory be allotted to Christopher Michael Miracle in accordance with Section 20, Section 1 of the Indian Act, Revised Statute of Canada, Chapters 1 to 5, land description, the whole of Lot 16, Tunning Industrial Concession 1, as shown on plan number Canada Land Survey Record 95029, Council Resolution 2425-066. The motion was carried, and that resolution was signed. Motion, and Chris M. Miracle is not, Christopher Michael Miracle is not the Chris Miracle that's on council. It's a different Chris Miracle. Motion 9 was moved by Chris Miracle, seconded by Curtis Brandt to approve the business registration of DK Enterprises owner Chelsea Davidson. The motion was carried. Motion 10 was moved by Aaron Ferranti and seconded by Linda Lewin to approve the business registration renewal for Gunhondagi Wellness owner Kalina and Brian Kanowski, and the motion was carried. Motion 11 was moved by, but no seconder. We need the seconder there. To acknowledge the Iroquois Caucus meeting November 13th and Grand Chiefs virtual, the Iroquois Caucus Harvesting Group meeting November the 27th with Deputy Minister Vander Diem here at Tononega. Chief Miracle, Councilors Chris Brandt, Curtis Brandt will be attending. The Iroquois Caucus Strategic Planning Session will be on January the 15th and 17th in Akwesasne. Chief Miracle, Councilors Aaron Ferranti, Ogwari Brandt, Curtis Brandt, and Linda Wayne will be attending. The motion is carried. We need a seconder for that motion. Who seconded that motion?
There was no mover either, Chief.
Pardon me?
There was no mover for that either, Chief.
Did you say you moved it?
No, I said there was no mover.
Yeah, there's
Or
no
seconder.
mover or seconder.
I was here for that. You can put me down.
Is there a motion for that? We can record it in the minutes as a correction. Ogwari?
I
Is
can
there-
second it.
Aaron? Okay, is all of council agreeable to add that to the motion because the mover and seconder was not included? It'll be Ogwari and Aaron. Any opposition?
Yep, I'm good.
Oh,
Yes.
so sorry.
Chris and Linda, are you opposed?
No, I agree.
Ogwari and Linda? Okay, it's Ogwari and Linda. Okay, so that's just a correction then. Okay, thank you. Motion 12 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Ogwari to approve paying Derek Wong invoice number 861, the amount of $13,000 for economic development ventures, and that should from ABN. Abra Business Network. Chris Miracle voted negative, and you might want to record why. And motion 13 is moved by Aaron and seconded by Linda to approve paying Hicks Morley invoice 711437, the amount of $224 for employment matters. That motion was carried. Motion 14 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Gwari to approve paying Alan Pratt invoice 6322 in the amount of $603 for the Turton Pen loss of use, and that motion was carried. Motion 15 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Ogwari to approve paying the Miller Thompson invoice in the amount of $1,537.50 for police services and in the amount of $10,588 for the Forester's Island reclamation and $860.40 for corporate matters. That motion was carried. Motion 16 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Ogwari to approve awarding the contract for the replacement of the Gagnote Library stairs and retaining wall project to build all contrasts totaling $344,184 and approve the project budget totaling $404,561, and that motion was carried. Motion 17 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Curtis to approve to award the contract for First Nations Technical Institute hangar septic system to build all contractors for $189,750 and approve the project budget totaling $229,012 from open LP funds. Motion 18 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Chris Brandt to approve the commercial lease with Indigenous Interprofessional Primary Care Team for 14 York Road, Unit 4, and that motion was carried. Motion 19 was moved by Chris Brandt and seconded by Aaron Ferranti to approve the addition of another carpenter to the Mohawk Bay Clinic organizational structure, and that motion was carried. Chris Miracle registered a negative vote. We'll discuss his reasons for the negative vote in private. Motion 20, moved by Ogwari and seconded by Curtis, that whereas the proposed hydro connection at 55655 Old Highway 2 channel was reviewed, it was resolved that the council representing MBQ at a duly convened meeting of the council on November the 8th, having reviewed the sketch provided by Hydro One Networks attaches here to a Schedule A in respect of the newer modified connection at 56 Old Highway 2 Shannonville to the electricity distribution system, hereby approve the proposed location of the poles, anchors, conductors, and equipment as identified on the sketch on the Tononega Mohawk territory Council Resolution 2425-067 was approved and the resolution was signed. Motion 21 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Linda Lewin that whereas the proposed hydro connection at 656 Norway's Road was reviewed and council resolved that the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte, the council, at a duly convened meeting of the council held November the 8th, and having reviewed the sketch provided by Ontario Hydro Works Inc., attached to Schedule A in respect of the new or modified connection at 656 Norway's Road to the electricity distribution system, hereby approved the proposed location of the poles, anchors, conductors, and equipment as identified in the sketch on the Tiny Mohawk territory. Council Resolution 2425-068 was approved and the resolution was signed. Motion 22 was moved by Chris Miracle and seconded by Awari to approve the purchase of a new truck for the water program from Open LP funding. The motion was carried. Motion 23 was moved by Chris Brandt and seconded by Curtis Brandt to approve the purchase of a new truck for the water program from Open LP funding. The motion was carried. Council confirmed the following scheduled meetings. November 13th was the Mohawk Council local business. November the 22nd was the regular council meeting. November the 26th and 27th, the AI data gathering conference, data governance gathering meeting will be held. November 27th is the local business meeting of council. November the 2nd is the regular meeting of the council. December the 11th is the Tiny Mohawk Council local business meeting. December the 18th is the Tiny Mohawk Council regular meeting. It was moved by Curtis Brandt and seconded by Aaron Park. This meeting go in private at 11 a.m. The motion is carried.
Those are two water trucks being purchased?
22 and 23. I heard you giggle. I figured you caught that.
And you got different names.
We don't need two motions. So that's a correction. We delete motion 23.
And to purchase two trucks?
So what should it be then,
And you got
Shelley?
two different names.
Oh, acres. Acres? Wasn't that what it was called? Acres? For for Todd, for the truck? I
Okay,
think you
so
called it acres.
which motion are we correcting here with the wording? And what should it read? So we're approving to apply for funding to purchase a new truck. Is that what it is?
No, you had told them to look into putting it on acres, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, on the acres report and place on. Do we know what the cost of the truck was so we can put it in the minutes?
I got in the notes from Kelly that Todd is to add the truck to asset management.
But how much is the truck costing for greater clarity in the minutes? Or an estimated cost?
56 or 57 or something, wasn't it?
No.
No, too much?
Oh, no, the pickup
It's-
truck.
It's a
Yeah, it was just a pickup truck.
not
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we gotta go back.
Okay, if we can correct it, then Shelley, and just put the if we have the actual cost, put it in the minutes. If not, what the estimated cost will
It should be
be.
in the last package, right?
Yeah, it will be in the last agenda.
Is a correction?
And then just under under 19, the negative vote will discuss his reasons for, I think the "and" should just be BB. Or a his. Yeah. I saw you looking at the same time too. I figured you did.
Is the cost for 22? 59,000. 413. Okay, we'll put that in there then. Chris, on motion 12, do you wish to record the reason for your negative vote for the Derek Long invoice of 13,500? Okay. Motion 11, just the omission was O'Gorry and Linda seconded the motion that was included. Are there any other errors, omissions, or corrections? Seeing none, can we have a motion to accept the minutes as corrected?
I'll motion.
Aaron, is there a seconder?
I'll second, Chief.
I'll second.
Well, O'Gorry beat you to it, Linda, so.
I see that, Chief. I try to be quick.
Okay. Is anyone opposed to accepting the minutes as corrected? Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. We will have the minutes, those are private minutes. We'll have the minutes of November 13th. A meeting with the council was held on Wednesday, November 13th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers for local business. And these minutes should be private, is that correct?
There's just
Well, it's not recorded as private. I have private minutes
there's
here.
some regular.
Oh,
We
one's
came
right.
out to do a couple regular things.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so present were myself, Chief Ardal Miracle, Councilor Chris Brandt, Curtis Brandt, Aaron Ferranti, Linda Lewin, and Chris Miracle. Staff present were Angela Miracle, the acting CEO, the Senior Director of Operations. Shelley Bowden, the Executive Administrative Assistant and Recording Secretary of the Council. Regrets for Chase O'Gorry Brandt left at 9:20 p.m. Council moved into regular at 10:10 p.m. to address some administrative agenda items. Motion 4 was moved by Chris Miracle and seconded by Curtis that whereas proposed hydro connection at 67 Beach Road was reviewed, therefore it be resolved that the council representing the Mohawks Bay Community First Nation at a duly convened meeting of the council held on November 13th, and having reviewed the sketch provided by Hydro One Networks and attached here to a Schedule A in respect of the new or modified connection at 67 Beach Road to the electricity distribution system, hereby approve the proposed location of the poles, anchors, conductors, and equipment as identified on the sketch on the Tiny Mohawk territory. Council Resolution 2425-069 was carried and signed. Motion 5 was moved by Chris Miracle and seconded by Curtis Brandt to approve signing the Open LP 2008 Schedule 9.1, and the motion was carried. Motion 6 was moved by Curtis and seconded by Chris Miracle that the meeting be adjourned at 10:23 p.m. Carried. Is there any corrections to these minutes? Any corrections to the minutes? Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, can we have a motion to accept these minutes as provided?
I'll motion.
Aaron
I'll second.
and Linda, thank you. Linda, you're quick on the draw there this time.
Well, I was trying.
Is anybody opposed? Anybody opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. Business arising from the minutes. I just have the Indigenous Advisory Council meeting on Thursday in Toronto. They are covering all expenses. Anybody else have travel?
That's business relevant.
Seeing none, okay. The Youth Council requesting a meeting with council. Take out your calendars, please.
Chief, you also have to get approval to attend the ALFEC board meeting on December 10th and 11th at the Great Canadian Female Resort.
The 10th and
And
11th.
you and Linda would be attending.
The 10th and 11th, just let me see. I think I'm already booked for something else. Just let me see. Charlie books all these things here. The 10th and 11th. Yeah, I see it. It's in my calendar, the 10th and 11th. So then I'll need a motion to attend the Indigenous Advisory Council meeting and the 10th and 11th, but they're paying all the expenses, so there'll be no expense to the band for that.
I'll motion.
Okay, but I won't be available. I'll be at that meeting, and then plus the 10th and 11th. And are they paying the expenses? I would think so, right? And attend the LFTC meeting on the 10th. And where's that
Is
going
that
to be?
AFLDC meeting, Chief, the 10th and the 11th?
Yes.
Okay,
Where is
I'll
it?
be going to that too.
Where is that going to be?
Isn't that in Toronto?
Great Canadian Casino.
In Toronto? Okay, so then we have, don't we have local business as well on
We
the,
do. We have a lot of meetings, we have. chief.
and we have a Deseronto Water Board meeting too on the, at 5 o'clock. So I will only be able to stay half a day on the 11th. Because I have to be back for the Deseronto Water Board meeting and the local council meeting.
This here is the treats that are also in that box.
Okay,
It's usually over with by noon anyway. Okay, who did you move, Aaron, to approve that? Who will second it? To approve those meetings outside the territory?
I will, Chief.
Ogbari, anybody opposed? Anybody opposed? Seeing none, the motion's carried. Just note that I can only stay till noon on the 11th because I'll have to get back for 5 o'clock for that Deseronto meeting. Okay. Take out your calendars then to number 4 to look at dates you're available to meet with the youth council. Do you want to meet with them at local business or regular council?
They want their own date,
Separate meeting.
so I think we would be looking into January or February, because December's a little wild.
Okay. They want a separate meeting?
Yep.
Yeah, let's schedule something then into January. So can we just make a motion then to give them a date and have them propose some dates in January?
Yep.
Moved by Aaron to request the youth council propose some dates that they'd like to meet in January. And would it be a day meeting or a night meeting?
I can be flexible, just not the week of the 15th to the 17th, because we'll be away for the Iroquois caucus.
So early, so I guess whatever date. So coordinate with our schedule in January, coordinate around that and work something out.
We can ask them if they would like a day or a night meeting.
Sure.
Yeah,
We'll get back to you with some dates.
yeah.
But
Okay,
not
so,
the week of January 15th because of ICUs, right?
Yep.
yeah, so provide some dates and check with Charlie with my schedule, please. So we don't have to juggle. All right, it's been moved by Aaron to arrange some dates in January. Staff to directed to arrange the dates in January. Who will second the motion?
I'll second.
Motion is carried. The blue box transition, can we have Megan come up, please, if she's here?
Sure. Hey, get in the door. Need my keys.
So there's a briefing note in your package provided by Megan Murphy, seeking a council resolution for circular materials, and the briefing note in the Blue Box Transition, March 15th, 2022, attached for relevant Blue Box transitioning background note on March 23rd, 22. Council agreed to proceed with being on the Blue Box transition schedule, which would allow us to approach the PRO to offer an agreement for Blue Box services. We have now been approached by PRO Circular Materials to enter into the next stages. To move to the next stage of Blue Box transition, Circular Materials require a council resolution acknowledging the service summary attached that they have provided, so they can proceed with creating and providing an agreement. Please review the services summary, included comments and responses, and consider signing the attached council resolution. Also see the attached presentation on Blue Box process and email confirmation of ISC's related role and position. I recommend reviewing the attached services summary and signing the council resolution. If requested, circular materials will come for a direct presentation meeting. So I guess you have to, do you want a direct presentation meeting, or are you prepared to sign the resolution that's requested? So the recommendation.
We're here.
Hi, Megan.
Hello, how are you all?
So we're just discussing the Blue Box transitioning. I guess if we don't sign the agreement, then we're going to be responsible for the cost of $83,000 annually. Then if we sign the agreement, if somebody else is fully funding this, is that correct?
So right now, we actually don't have an agreement on the table. This is just a summary of what they might offer. So the agreement will come next.
Oh, it's what they might offer.
Yeah, it's outlining what our current services is and how they're going to approach it.
Okay,
So the next step would be an agreement. This step here is to just sort of acknowledge and agree with the summary that they provided.
Okay, and just outline for the council, the benefit of council and our listeners online, what is in this summary?
So the summary outlines how we currently operate collecting Blue Box materials. So it outlines our 2 trucks and the employees and all of the places that we collect from, including residents and then MBQ owned facilities. And they are just basically outlining there that their intention would be to provide us an agreement. There's 2 options. We could operate the same way that we do right now with our employees and our trucks, or we could, and they would pay for that. Essentially, they would pay for everything except for ineligible sources, and those are outlined in the summary. They include some band facilities and some school facilities that aren't provincially recognized.
And what about businesses?
The businesses are also ineligible. They currently are also ineligible with us.
So then it really is just residential units.
Essentially just residential. So
Okay.
with that, they'll fund that, and they'll fund our program to collect.
To
all
what
of
extent will the funding be 100% of the cost?
that. It'd be 100% of those eligible costs.
100% of eligible costs. So what
Yes.
are eligible costs?
The residential, all residential.
So that's just the cost of picking up residential Blue Box.
Yes, they'll also do like public receptacles. We don't currently have any, but they will do those. And they'll do public events like our fair and our powwow, for example, if we want to collect drink bottles and whatnot. They'll collect those for us and fund a program to do
Okay,
that.
so what about the police services and the band programs?
So all of those ineligibles would not be covered by circular materials. What we would have to do is what we are now currently doing is approach ISC to cover that, to reimburse for those ineligibles.
Okay, so they'll, I guess these, like the school, for example, they would pick the recycling up for a fee, is that correct?
We would still pick it up through our program. but they just wouldn't cover that through their
Okay,
reimbursement to us.
so then we're going to have to write a letter to Travis Anderson and Michael Byrne saying this is coming and please adjust the budget for the schools to cover those. So do we have any idea what the cost would be?
Right now, not really. It's based on tonnage.
Okay,
So would be, they're gonna look at all of our past costs for recycling and then offer us a monthly rate based on what our average is, and they'll adjust it when.
and so
when
the
there's
businesses
difference.
can then contact this company to pick up their waste for a fee.
What's that, sorry?
The businesses can contact somebody at this company to pick up their recycling for a fee?
No, how it would work is, so the businesses, right now, they can go to an external third party, any recycle.
Or they can't use this service?
Circular Materials is not an actual collection company. They're this overarching, they call it a pro, who's organizing the pickup all over the place for the
Because there'd be a
province.
lot of cards in some of these businesses, I would think, and so that couldn't be picked up by this company.
No, so right now, the businesses can reach out to any third-party waste collection company and get into an agreement with them to
Okay,
pick
and then
up their
just,
materials.
and do they know now what companies provide that service?
I do, so I help the businesses get in touch with the company if they need
So we
that.
have sent some communication to the businesses about it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll continue to put
Okay,
out,
make sure that people in business registration know that's how we're operating too, is just to share that information. Same thing with CWC. So what about the band programs, like the CWC building, the medical center, the Elders Lodge, the police station?
yeah, so those are all under this regime
Agreement, okay.
considered ineligible.
Ineligible.
Right, so right now, all the ineligibles would show up as a percentage of our total collection.
Okay, so we're gonna need then a budgetary shortfall then for this, what this is likely gonna be?
It outlines it pretty well in that summary.
And what, just
Just without it in front of me, I don't have the percentages
here,
in my
you
mind.
can look at my sheet here.
I think they outline sort of a standard where, for the most part, they would cover about 98%, and then ineligibles represent roughly around 2%.
I just want to know what dollar amount, what kind of money would we be looking for? Is it
I don't have
negligible?
that for you right now, Chief, just because I don't have it included in the summary either.
Okay,
Like I said, this isn't the actual agreement, so they don't have all of that
okay, so
outlined yet.
it'll come forward in the actual agreement then?
Correct.
Okay, that clarifies it. So I guess since most of the recycling is household, it would be foolish not to sign the agreement.
Well, the only thing I was going to mention as a consideration is that just as of last year, I'm assuming you remember, I got reimbursement from ISK for all of our solid waste and recycle operations and maintenance costs. And that was new to MBQ in general, was getting those all reimbursed by ISK. It was a service only offered as of 2018 or something, and we had never accessed it. So
Did we get retroactive?
So I learned about that, and we got that last year. So we got, I think it was over $400,000 reimbursed by ISK.
Was it retroactive to 2018?
No, it wasn't.
How
It couldn't be. It was only a 2-year retroactive.
So we missed out on some funding then?
Correct. It was prior to me and prior to
I don't
anyone
recall
knowing.
ever getting any notification that they were going to fund that.
Yeah, I'm
This
not
is why,
sure.
this is why it's so important that we know what our deficits are, that we have meetings and summaries provided so we can go and lobby and make sure those things we don't miss funding.
Agree. So I just happened to attend a waste and recycle conference with the OFMTSC and then learned about it. So that's hit the road running trying to get it.
I
so.
would like a letter prepared for my signature to Michael Byrne about that, because there should have been some notification that they would cover those costs to, normally what they do is they notify us either in a notice of budget adjustment, and I don't recall ever seeing anything like that.
Okay.
Okay,
So with that, Chief, like I said, ISK did cover everything, and within that package is some ISK correspondence for this blue box transition, and they outlined there that when this transition is available,
So we missed out on about 3 years of funding. That's probably $300,000.
likely.
Draft a letter for my signature and we'll put it on the agenda for the 12th.
Okay. Noted. So ISC outlines within their correspondence that they will still cover ineligible sources where they have funding available through their solid waste O&M sources.
All right.
But when we transition, they're not promising that they would fund everything because there's alternative funding available through the province.
So we would
Well, the other
use
thing,
the alternative funding and then we could apply to ISC. for
okay, but we need to make
ineligibles.
sure that
Yes.
the province is going to extend that to First Nations.
Yes, they are. So right now, under the Ontario regulation that is governing this, they are responsible for First Nations, and that's why we're being approached by Circular Materials.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a motion, and I guess so then they would just pay us, we would, our crew would still collect the waste and it would operate normally, just the funding mechanism would be different.
Yeah, so as of right now, that is option one. They pay us for our crew and for our collection program. Option two is they bring in their own third-party collection program and they just pay for it, and we never see any sort of transition of that money or anything. So right now, nobody's asking for what option, but I would recommend that we go with option one to keep our employees and keep our program in place.
Option one or option two?
Option one, where we keep our current employees and we keep our program to keep some community members employed.
Oh, I think it's
It's
option
my
two. It's option
consideration
two.
of
Oh,
option
sorry.
two.
Sorry, yeah, that's option two one. I don't have it in front of
She's
me
telling
again.
me something different.
Yeah.
Not
So,
that
so
you-
is there any other further clarity needed from council that clarifies it for me?
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Can we have a motion then to select option two?
Motion.
Chris, Miracle,
I'll second.
and Aaron? And I also would, could I have the mover and seconder agree that we would like a motion for the cost, what the cost will be for MBQ?
Sure. If Chris agrees.
Okay, that's good. The motion is, Linda, are you in favor?
Yes, I am.
And O'Gara, you're in favor?
Yep.
The motion is carried.
Included in the package is an MCR, a drafted MCR for everyone's
Yeah.
signature.
Yeah.
That is then to acknowledge this summary and then proceed with getting an agreement.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And you'll
Megan.
prepare those letters for the retroactive costs for the 12?
Yes.
Okay, Thank you.
some folks. Thank you.
Okay, the business registration is put on the agenda by Diane Brandt Winkler. If it's a new business registration, Don Cerillo Consulting. The owner is Melinda Otten. It's an Indigenous cultural education consultant. The environmental and fire protection is not required, insurance not required for business registration purposes. The recommendation is to approve. Does council approve?
I'll motion.
Moved by Aaron. Is there a seconder?
A second, Chief.
Ogwari? Anyone opposed? Is there anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. Number seven. We have a new business registration for a Premium Puff Vape. Premium Puff Vape, the owner is Mike Holland. It's an e-commerce vape sales. Environmental fire protection is not required. Insurance not required for business registration purposes. The recommendation from the Economic Development Department is to approve it.
I'll motion.
Moved by Aaron to approve. Is there a seconder? Is there a seconder?
A second, Chief.
Aguari? Is anyone opposed? Is there anyone opposed?
Good here.
Woo.
Linda is agreeable. Chris, are you agreeable? Motion is carried.
Surprise. You snuck up on us, Linda.
I just want to make sure you know I'm still here.
The Iroquois Caucus upcoming meetings. The next Iroquois Caucus General Assembly is scheduled December the 2nd in 2024 in Ottawa. The IC strategic planning sessions are confirmed for January 15th to 17th at 2025 Akwesasne Mohawk Casino. Accommodation information has been shared. The council members planning to attend. We have a council meeting on this, I think it's the 2nd of December. Just let me check my calendar. The regular council meeting is on the 2nd. And so that there's a conflict. Does council want to go to the annual Iroquois Caucus General Assembly? Otherwise, I'd have to make the council meeting the priority.
So you've already approved to go to the Assembly for Station Special Chiefs Assembly in Ottawa.
Okay. So
So we
somebody
need to
else will
move that
then will
meeting
chair the
anyway?
council meeting on December the 2nd. Is that what will happen?
Oh,
Depends on if anyone's going to the IC, I guess.
So is any council planning to go to the Iroquois Caucus General Assembly on the 2nd of December in Ottawa? If so, we will have to reschedule the December 2nd council meeting.
no, I don't plan to go to that one.
You're not going?
No, I'll go to the one
Are
in
you going,
January.
Chris?
No, I'm not either.
You're not going? Bar, are you going? Not going? So then I guess one of you will then have to chair the council meeting on December the 2nd because I've been approved to go to this meeting.
Okay.
I can, forego the Iroquois Caucus meeting and come to council wishes. Well,
You're going to the AFN?
yeah, but the FN doesn't start until the 3rd. Oh, on Sunday? Oh, okay. All right, I guess I can't then. So I guess the council then will proceed, but please note that I'm scheduled to attend the FN meeting during that week, and one of the council members will have to become the chair of the council. So normally what would happen is you would make a motion to acknowledge that I'm at other meetings, and then appoint a chair among yourselves. Is there any volunteers?
Not yet.
Hmm?
I said not yet.
Not yet.
We'll wait for full council and we can do that day,
Okay,
I
so
think.
full council, but just heads up, think about it. So I guess just to prove that the chief will attend. Linda, you're not going either?
No, chief.
I will motion.
Aaron, who will second it? Just to acknowledge for the minutes, I'll be attending that meeting.
Second, chief.
I'll second that, chief. Oops.
I was waiting for you, Linda, but you weren't doing nothing.
I know, my finger wasn't quick as my mouth.
Can we get Susan online or for the Ontario Health Team, primary health care? Apparently the presenters are,
They want to come on December 2nd and give this presentation.
oh,
Okay, so can we just motion to defer that then? I'll motion.
can Susan update us by Zoom today, Angela?
I don't know, Chief. Update you on what?
The Ontario Health, there's a shortage of doctors and there's,
The presentation.
I see it. But I want to know what's the plan though.
I would say it's in the
I know what the
presentation.
stats are. I just want to know what are they asking for? Are they asking communities to put money together to attract more doctors here, or and what's our doctor shortage here? I understand that there's 700 people or more on the roster for our medical center here. They're not taking more patients. I guess how many are they turning away that are our members? I need some information.
Maybe they're going to prepare that for December 2nd because their date on their slideshow does say December 2nd as well.
Doesn't say doctors. Though I understand that we have graduate and one in school now. And it's more, it's, at least from our meeting, it
Yeah.
seems that there needs to be funding. We
Well,
have
To
a
employ
doctor
them.
already that's a member.
From
that wants
here.
to come back.
Well, we have several doctors that are members
And
here.
one that's
And one
in
wants to
the
come
system
back. I'm
now.
aware of that. But what's the barrier why they can't?
Funding.
Funding. IIPCT funding to hire another doctor.
So I think they're anticipating Paul Ontario Health for a proposal submission from time line hasn't yet. So they're just waiting for the call to submit a proposal.
Nice.
Okay. Go ahead with the presentation and ask Susan and Tara to come and present to me, maybe ahead of time. I'd like to know more about this. Okay, acknowledge a motion that this will take place on the presentation for the Ontario Health Team Primary Care will take place on December the 2nd at the council meeting. Who will move?
I'll move.
Who will second it?
I'll second.
And Charlie can attend to take notes as well on my behalf here on the 2nd of December. We have Miller Thompson legal invoices for the Police Services Board, $995, and for the corporate matters, $520. Motion to pay.
I'll motion.
Aaron will second it.
I'll second, Chief.
Lori? Is anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. The CW expansion additional funding, can we have Tom come to the meeting?
Thank you.
Whew.
Should have went on a 5-minute break.
To pee.
Do you need a break?
I was hoping for one.
Okay, let's have a 5-minute break while we
He's
wait
got
for Tom.
he's got to turn the thing on. I don't know what that press over there.
Awesome, thanks, Andrew, appreciate that, I was waiting.
Okay, for people online, we need to take a 5-minute break, and so we'll be back in 5 minutes while we're waiting for Tom Crane. Thank you. Just make it 5 minutes, so be short. Don't Okay, thank you, Tom, for attending the council meeting. So we're on item number 12 on the agenda, November 25th, and it's the CW expansion project, and it requires additional funding approval. MBQ received conditional funding approval through Indigenous Services Canada First Nations Child and Family Services in Jordan's Principal to cover construction costs for the CWC expansion project. The total funding to be received is $4,513,654.66, leaving a balance of $7,514,605.84 from MBQ previous commitment of $11,410,653. The existing sidewalk cost will be $89,035. The exterior wood and steel cladding, $617,607.50 require replacing. These costs and scope are being proposed in the attached revised budget for a total budget of $12,117,445.85. The approved revised budget includes increasing the scope to replace the existing sidewalk and the exterior wood and steel cladding as change order to the existing contract. The total budget is $12,117,445.85. To approve the conditional funding from ISC, $4,513,654.66 from the MBQ covering the remaining. So why are they not covering all the costs?
Because this funding is specific to space that's allocated to Jordan's Principal and the positions funded by CHRT 41.
Okay.
So they took the overall cost and used the square footage that would be allocated just for that space, which is the approved 4.7.
So was there already funding that's set aside for this
Yeah, we've already
that the past
Yep.
council already approved? So we're just approving that they're giving us funding.
which would lower the allocation for that. CWC will be able to reallocate that difference to other areas.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now, Tom, in light of the fact that the chiefs didn't ratify that child welfare settlement agreement, is there still funds going to flow for these projects?
Yep.
Okay. Because I understand from what I've been told that some of it will flow, but some of it may be held back. So I don't know. I've asked for clarity from the department on which components are not going to be funded until there's an agreement signed. So the Ontario region does intend to pursue its own agreement and not be part of a national agreement. That's in the works now. Let's have a call with the lawyers, with Joel Abram, Maggie Wente, and the lawyer that's dealing with the file to find it, because I understand that they were supposed to cover all of the costs.
This funding is only specific to space for Jordan's Principal and space for the positions that are funded by CHRT 41. The building has other staff in it. So you have Good Minds, OW.
So there was a
and
$10
Mohawk
million
Family Services.
budget, I think, when Ann Scotton was the regional director. We got a letter from her. Isn't that covering some of this cost here, or is
The
that
remaining cost that has already been committed is coming from a stream of funding that we'd already received, yes. So this will offset that. We can
Okay.
reallocate it to something else.
And you checked with Sue and finance that we have money to cover this, and
If we don't, then
we lose out.
No, we'd be off in, like, you're about 70% through construction right now.
We proceeded based on that funding anyways.
Yeah.
Before. Right? The whole project was approved because we
Correct.
had that money sitting there.
Correct.
So the money's there.
And that the amount from OFNLP funds have already been committed previously in the
It's not
budget?
OFNLP funds. It's the money that came in from,
ISC's CWJ1 program one-time funds.
It says here, the recommendation is to approve the revised budget, which includes increasing the scope of replacing the existing sidewalk, exterior wood and steel cladding, as change order. Existing contract. So are we going to put wood back on there or something different that's more durable?
Cement composite.
I'm sorry, Tom?
Cement composite.
That would be better.
The manufacturer is called James Hardy Board.
So then we won't have to get involved with shellacking and all this stuff,
Correct.
because that was quite expensive.
Correct.
Okay, I agree with that. Hey, is there a motion then to approve this recommendation? If so, we'll need a mover.
I'll motion.
Moved by Aaron,
I'll second, chief.
anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? And the revised budget's there. And we'll need a motion to send this letter also on November 15th to Monica Ganaraja, the Regional Senior Program Officer, Child Family Services, Reform and Transformation at Indigenous Services Canada. Is there a motion?
What's that one for?
What do you ask?
That's the letter that's accepting the 4.7 million.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
To send this letter off?
I'll
Sign
make
this.
that part of the motion
Moved by
too.
Aaron, who will second it?
Part of the motion, you said?
Yep,
Who will second that motion to send this letter?
if Ogari's good with that.
Or-
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Ogwari?
Yeah.
Motion's carried. Anybody opposed? Motion's carried.
We're gonna put it together, chief. Same motion, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you. Next one is the housing gap one.
The Indigenous Services Canada Housing Gap New Construction Stream. ISC On Reserve Housing Fund call for application closes December 31st. The recommendation is to approve an application for 7 one-bedroom, zero-energy-ready units to be constructed by Housing and Band Property Trades Team, and to construct a zero-energy-ready triplex in collaboration with Habitat for Humanity and the LTC MBQ Employment and Training Program, to approve a total budget of $2,838,000. And so when you submit this proposal, then I guess we're hoping to get it all from IFC. Is that correct, Tom?
Yes.
Okay.
Just question. Is there any way to build more than one bedrooms, or does it have to be a one bedroom?
Doesn't have to.
Is
be.
that what's most needed for
That's
us?
the other? So we're building 12 of them right now. So it'd be to match those ones.
Will it be the same size as the other ones?
Yeah.
Oh, they'll just be like tiny homes too?
Is there a motion to approve this submission to the department?
Chief, I would suggest some amendments.
Okay, what are you amending?
Every council, we talk about potential housing crisis. We had contractors at council last week saying square footage costs are about 180, 700 square foot house, that's 120 or 100. Now we're looking at upwards of 300,000 for these tiny houses, and that's per. If you're in a housing crisis, you don't go out and buy a bunch of Cadillacs. You buy a bunch of Chevettes if you're in a crisis. If I use that an automotive analogy. It's just, we're never going to get on top of this crisis if we continue to build elaborate houses. I understand climate change, I understand everything. It's just that it's hard to support $300,000 for tiny houses. And especially when you say you're going to build 10 all identical. That's what the prairies looked like 25, 30 years ago. You knew you hit the res. They're all identical. It doesn't cost hardly anything to change the facade a little bit, the front. And I'm not saying hire consultants. You go online, you can do this stuff in 2 seconds. You can buy these plans for a couple $100, not tens of thousands.
So Tom, have you discussed all of this with the LOTC and they're all on board with this plan? That's what I thought. Okay.
Oops.
And did they have any concerns with what's being proposed?
No, we're still very preliminary on what the collaboration is going to look like, though. But the reason why they're all the same in the front is the way the roof line is, so that we have a north and south facing pitch for the.
Okay,
solar
and so
panels.
if we use our own staff to do it, what's the time frame? If we get approval, when will it start? When can they have it all done?
Depends on when we get the approval to start.
Well, let's say the approval's ready for the spring, then it'll be done by the fall or
By the end of the fiscal.
the end of the fiscal, so
March.
the end of 2020.
March 2026 would be our target.
And if they're a contractor, Bill, you wouldn't get LTC funding for labor. So are we going to get more mileage then out of
So
it?
the AFLDC is only on the threeplex. You could, if council wants, you could award to a contractor for the 7 houses and do the threeplex with AFLDC and Habitat.
So what is the decision of council?
I'd make the motion for him to put in the application to receive funding.
To
I'll
submit the
second.
application? And it's seconded by Aaron. Is there anyone opposed to submitting this application?
I support the application. I don't support the current suggested approach.
Okay, well, it's a submit the application is what we're dealing with now, right, Tom? But I guess if they approve this is what they expect us to build.
Yeah, we have to submit our plans for detailed designs or environmental stuff.
Linda, what's your vote? Chris, what's your vote? You said you supported the application, but that does mean that they expect us to follow this plan.
No, I believe there's flexibility, Chief. I worked at Indian Affairs for a long time.
Linda, are you there?
I am, I agree.
You're in favor of submitting the application and the plan?
Yes, I am.
Okay, the motion is carried then. Chris, what's your vote?
Negative for the reasons listed. No, what I'm saying is I support making application, but I'm being told, well, if you support the application, you're also supporting the suggested process. And I'm saying the process is flawed and it doesn't give us the best bang for our buck addressing the issues. And I've people in the community keep saying, why are you building into such garages and this and that, and we have homeless people, and I don't know, it's just, anyways. Every council, I say the same thing, and every council, I stand by it, that we're building way beyond what's needed.
Okay. Noted then. The motion is carried.
North Street Development Road naming.
So Tom has got a North Street here.
Oh, where is that hiding?
The road within North Street development requires a name in order to establish 911 addresses for the new construction. They select and approve a name for the new road in the North Street development.
Yeah, 2 number 14s.
Found it.
So the road goes in just west of it's a continuation of that road that goes, I think, what is that?
Branch Street.
Pardon me?
Branch Street.
Brant Street? So why would you just not call that Brant Street North?
That would have been the initial.
Oh, it's because you're on Brant Drive, right?
No, because of all the issues that we've had with trying to get the approvals for the water and sewer. I think it'd be best just to keep the name separate. So the town made a comment about the fire protection and who does is it our fire department? It's their fire department.
That was at our water board meeting, yes.
So it would be the same. It would be
Interesting.
ours, and it would be the same as any other ones. So it'd be just easier to not have that confusion of which part of Branch Street is the reserve and which part of Branch Street isn't.
So why don't we just call it Flat Street?
Sure.
Linda, what do you think about that? Because people know that area is the flats.
And that's great, it's about time.
What about Flat Street? Because that's what people call that area, which was what's known as the flats.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
If so, can we have a motion to call it Flat Street? Or we can call it Honey Drive, Honey's Drive. We already
That's
got an
cute.
eye, but
We are, I'm good with the flats.
flat street.
Is it a street or is it a court?
We can go straight.
Street?
Flat, do it street or court?
You can do either, I think, but it may eventually not be a court.
Flat street it is.
Perfect.
That's funny. Sounds like it should be flat. I'll second that if
Better
you
not be
needed a
any
seconder,
hills.
Linda.
Is that 2 T's or 1 T?
1 T.
1D.
Yeah. That's in keeping with what we've named the other roads. We you know, Gussie's Lane and Gordon's Lane and Gypsy Lane and Church Lane,
Sadie's Lane.
Sadie's Lane, so we'll call it Flat Street.
Perfect. Love it.
Who moved that and who seconded it?
I think Linda moved it.
I'll second.
I moved, I think.
Linda, and who will second it?
Me.
Aaron? Anyone opposed? Flat Street it is. The naming of the nursing home. I've asked if we could consider Gajit Jonta Lodge. My grandmother was in a nursing home, and back in the 60s, there was no place for those people to go, and Mom had to work. We had to stay home from school quite often to take care of our grandmother and take turns. And there were a lot of people that had to go to that Maple Haven nursing home in Belleville. And from that point on, I had a lot of determination that would change, that there'd be a place to care for our people here when I was just a teenager. Or name one of the sections that, but it should have a Mohawk name. And Gajit Jonta in Mohawk means to when something is blooming into something good, like a flower pops, it blooms and it's a thing of beauty.
I'll move that, Chief.
But if you want to consult the community, I'm good with that too. But that's where the passion for me came from. What I saw my grandmother in the home there, and quite often I did see that a lot of our people are not well taken care of. What's that? Yeah, she was a midwife, my grandmother.
Oh.
So she spent her whole life caring for other people. If so, then can we have a motion to call it that?
There's a motion on the floor, Chief.
Chris?
I'd just make the motion to accept all these names that were provided.
Okay, we've got one motion on the floor. Is there a seconder for that motion? Chris's motion.
I do like that name. I think it's a beautiful name, but should we give the community some option in this? Because it is a huge new building that is beautiful, but maybe we could include a couple of these options. So like a Junta
Yeah.
Manor.
Like, you know, the wing or something, you want to, each of those rooms. The other thing is that the Parrot Center did give us a significant donation, Tom, several $100,000, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
And so maybe we should name one of the units there in that.
So I'm working on a donor wall as well.
A donor wall would be a great thing. And so we have raised over $1 million so far to help offset any costs for
Beautiful.
furnishings and stuff. And I think on our gala, it's close to 160,000. And we will have, but of course, we did say we'd share with the hospital, but the CN contribution for 50,000 was specific to our long-term care. So the balance that we raised at the foundation will be given to the Bell Hospital. It'll be around 60,000 from MBK. So we turned $13,000 into 160,000.
Nice.
And you were at Chris and Linda and Agori, and Linda and I did work to gather up presents, prizes and stuff like that. We raised money on that, and so it was a very, and Tom and Susan helped, and Charlie and Bonnie helped with the decorations and the organizing the meal and all that. So it was very well, and I had a lot of very positive comments about it. It was well attended. But if you work at things, you can make money, but you just need to go ahead with stuff and give it a try.
And I agree that I would personally believe that since this is a community building, I would love to hear the community's input on
Okay.
that and have them decide what the name is.
Okay. Well, just note, then I've suggested that.
I think we could put that in as an option too, if we gave some options, and then we can let the community decide. Facebook poll.
I agree.
Okay, so it'll be, we'll consider that as an option, then I could consult the community on naming.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's moved by Chris, who will
Is that
second
for
it.
the Four Wings as well, or do you just want to go?
Can we do
Well, the home
both?
should have, the home should have a name, there's with the something manor, I would think. And then each of these units should have a name. And I can see from the calls I get, there is a lot of people here that are going to need a place to, just because of they're not able to look after themselves. And their family can't devote the time to provide the level of care they need.
Right. So we'll put it to the community to decide the name of the entire unit and then the Four Wings. If that's okay.
And I'm going to tell you, it was no easy feat to make two governments come up with $80 million to work together to address the need. And it had to start right from scratch with licensing to get the province to open up its policy to fund First Nations long-term care. Because when we started, the reality was that there was only 0.25% of the total bed allocation in Ontario was on reserve. And so Pat Madabi and I went to ask them, what is your understanding of the need for First Nations and what is the plan? Guess what? There was no understanding of the need for First Nations and there was no plan. So I suggested we form a trilateral committee. A trilateral committee was formed. They made me the co-chair along with the deputy minister of that committee. And we were able to get the Wynne government to make licensing available as well as provide capital and operating money. Then the next step was to have the federal government cough up some money. And Tom and I can tell you what a challenge it was to get Infrastructure Canada to provide 25 million. And ISK 6 million, and Indigenous Services Canada 5 million. And we had, on the government side, we also had a champion in our corner, and that was Ann Scotton, who also believed in it. And so we all worked together, and we all achieved 80 million, and we're raising money to help offset the band share through our fundraising activity.
Awesome.
And if you'd like to donate, you can. So a lot of the corporations have suggested we have another gala in the spring. I said, I'll have to speak to my volunteers about that. But everybody pulled together and did a good job and did what they needed to do. And that's how it takes many hands to make things work properly. And we always have to be advocating the needs of our community with government officials and taking on our own initiatives to help raise our portion of the cost. So who will second Chris Miracle's motion? Aaron?
No, I'm negative on Chris's motion.
No, but we'll amend it to consider that as an option.
Are
you
you
agreeable
okay
with that,
with
Chris?
that,
We'll
Chris?
just consider that my grandmother's Mohawk name as an option.
I will stand by my first motion, Chief.
Okay, to name it that? Is there a seconder? No seconder? And then the new motion.
To put it to community to name the manor and the Four Wings with Gaji Junta to be considered.
I'll second that motion, Chief.
The motion. Anybody opposed to the motion? The motion's carried. The next item is the Housing Selection Committee. And the window for applicants to express interest to join the new Housing Rental Selection Committee has closed with applicants. The draft terms are referenced and stated 5 members. Increase the number committee to 7. As council, first of all, increased in the size of the committee from 5 to 7, if so, we'll need a motion.
I'll motion.
Is there a seconder?
I can second that, Chief.
I'll second. Nope,
Aguirre beat you to it, Linda.
I heard. Just
I was
as it
waiting
was
for you
coming out of
again.
my mouth.
Waiting for you again.
Conflict of interest, chief, with that?
Conflict?
Yeah. That's for the recreation committee? I mean, the housing committee folks?
And what is the conflict?
I believe my son's on there.
Okay.
I just have one question. Who's going to be the non-voting housing portfolio holder? Seeing as Chris stepped down
Okay,
from that.
let's
portfolio.
deal with this committee first before we digress, okay? So and we can deal with that after. The Housing Review Selection Committee window for applicants is closed on October 31st. TMC to approve, create a new housing selection committee that would be responsible for review and selection of the tenants. The review committee shall consist of the following: housing representative chair, non-voting; housing representative recording secretary, non-voting; 5 elected, so they'll now read 7. Right, Tom?
Yep.
Housing portfolio, non-voting. And the following 8 applicants were reviewed. We had an application from Haley Caron, Christopher Miracle, Barbara Green Caverhill, Gunnar Howie, Nicole Storm, Stephen Brandt, Stephanie Baptiste, Ellen Miracle, Mel, and Tina Miracle McQuaid. All but one applicant had relevant background. The odd number was selected to ensure that there would be no tie break that did not involve housing staff or council. And the committee then, the recommendation is to approve the 7 names of the new rental selection review committee: Haley Caron, Christopher Miracle, Barbara Green Caverhill, Gunnar Howie, Nicole Storm, Stephen Brandt, Stephanie Baptiste, and Ellen Miracle.
The selection policy still stands in place, right? That's what they'll use to make
No,
their
at
selections.
My experience with that, at their first meeting, they'll make a motion to accept the terms of reference,
Okay.
and then that will come back to council.
Okay, so we need to then, I guess, do you approve the list of names that are recommended? And I guess why was the one omitted? There were 8 applied and only 7. Why, what was the,
They didn't have relevant experience.
It would have been the lower on the rest.
it would have been what, Tom?
Lower experience, we. you
No
can't have
experience.
it. We
Okay.
didn't want an even number, so we could have just. stayed
No,
with
but I guess
5
the
and-
names that were considered, one we're seeing here, there were 8 applicants. Why was one not suitable?
It said in the briefing note that they didn't have the relevant experience.
The relevant
As much as the other
experience,
ones.
okay.
And you
So
had more
approve, we
applicants
need a
than
motion then to
citizens.
approve the list of names for the committee as recommended.
I will motion.
I was second.
Aaron and Linda. Okay, anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion's carried. Now, there has to be a housing portfolio holder, and I understand Chris doesn't want to be the housing portfolio anymore. So is there any volunteers, or should this be put before full council? So far, I'm a de facto member of all of a non-voting de facto member of all of these council committees, but I need information when these meetings are occurring. And you'll have to coordinate with Charlie to see what I can go if I want to, but I'm a non-voting member on all council committees, but I can express my opinion there.
I'd step up and go on this committee.
You want to take the housing portfolio?
Sure.
Okay, do you want to switch with policing to give it to Chris?
No, I'll keep it.
Okay, then we'll need a motion then to appoint Aaron Ogwari as the housing portfolio.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
So we should note Chris has resigned as the housing portfolio member of the, we'll just acknowledge, we should have a motion to do that, to acknowledge the resignation from the portfolio.
I'll motion, Chief.
Moved by Guari, who will second it?
I will second.
Aaron, anybody opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried, and then we got a motion then for Aaron and Linda to appoint Aguari as the replacement for the housing portfolio. Anybody opposed? Anybody opposed? Seeing none, that motion is carried. So you can update Shelley, we'll update her. We'll wait till our recording secretary comes back.
I'm happy to sub in for you too, if there's anything that you can't make.
Yeah, okay.
So the upcoming meetings, we'll deal that while we're waiting for Shelley. The November 26th and 27th is the Iroquois Caucus Working Group meeting, and that'll take place at the Fire Hall. November 26th and 27th, 2024 is the AI Data Governance Gathering meeting. And Linda, you're attending that?
If you're
Yes, I am.
November the
Thanks for
27th
coming, Tom.
is a local business.
Thanks,
November
Tommy.
28th is the Indigenous Advisory Council meeting in Toronto. And that I'll be attending that. December the 2nd is the council, regular council. December the 2nd to the 6th is the Assembly of First Nation Chiefs Assembly in Ottawa. The December the 11th is the local business and ISC lobby meeting will take place in Toronto. December 18th is the regular council meeting.
Do we need a motion to go into private now?
We'll wait till Shelley comes back so I can update her on these motions that were
Okay.
passed. Then we'll have a motion to go in private.
Sure.
Then it will be lunchtime, hopefully, and our lunch might be here, and then we will go into private and then finish up the agenda. And we will have you out of here by 2:00.
Yep.
It's like, yeah.
We're on track.
No, you gotta stay till 4 now.
I'm not driving, and they want to drive in the late.
Are you taking the train?
No. Linda, you're taking the train, right?
Yep.
1:30?
So Linda, have you got your vehicle fixed yet? So your car break down?
Yeah, it did. It was my sensors. It was my starter sensor.
Oh no.
But that's all fixed now, and I'm taking the train, just to be on the safe side.
Smart. You don't want to get stuck in the cold.
Exactly. I don't mind being stuck in the train station. At least I'll be warm.
Yep.
And I have somebody to talk to.
So that's the data governance?
Yes.
Where is that going to be held?
In Brampton, at the Hilton Garden Inn.
Is there bus service out there from the train station?
Yeah, there's cabs.
Okay,
Uber.
Scary.
okay. Well, I can just update Shelley when she comes back then, so we'll just have a motion to go in private, then we'll wait for our lunch, then we'll convene after that.
I'll motion.
Moved by Aaron and seconded by Aguari
Oh,
to go into private at 12:07 p.m. Anybody opposed? Is there anybody opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. And I would like to thank all of the members who joined us online this morning, and I wish you all a good day. And hopefully the snow will stay away for a bit longer. Have a good day, everyone. Bye. Onigi wahi, sewa waigo.
yeah, so I'm probably gonna, take off from here, because I have to go pick up my car, and then I gotta get ready to get to the train station. So, and Chip, you said Chip's coming at 12:30, so
Yeah.
he'll be the,
Yeah, well-
other one for the quorum.
Yeah, we'll still have a quorum of council anyway.
Oh, okay then.
Okay, Angela, there's